a KG school, a junior high school, please learn to have your teachers take part in PLC and DPLC training right in. So you set aside some time, download this, and then you use them. The learning planners will be there. You can download them, and then you can use them as well. Now, I have another question on, I think I've spoken to accessibility.
Yes.
And then
he asked, why is that curriculum does not teach us or help us to harness our own resources?
Oh, okay.
So briefly,
now,
because of
I
time.
don't know the subject what you teach in your school, but you realize that when it comes to the common core standard base for the primary and the junior high, the subjects or the learning areas are integrated. For example, you take social studies. There are topics in social studies that in history that talks to some of these things. And this has become more intentional even in the senior high school curriculum, where teachers are encouraged to use resources that are right in their environment. So, for example, you want to talk to a mountain, please look for a rock in your area, talk to that, and then magnify it, a mountain that when you want to even mention the name, you have to twist your tongue because we don't have them in Ghana. But when it comes to resources, when it comes to making sure that we intentionally talk to what we have in Ghana, this has been done in the Common Core Standard-Based Curriculum. But they are integrated in some of the subjects. Have I done justice?
Yes, you have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Did I miss out anything? Did I miss out any? Those who asked the questions, did I miss out?
All the questions, it's just left one for Nasia.
Okay, thank you.
So Director would like to quickly add something to it, and we'll take the last answer from Nasia.
I think the challenge with Nasia, NACA, you are doing very great. You've been in most of your activities and we are collaborating. But the problem NACA is having now, NACA has now is the assessment. The question the gentleman asked is very perfect concerning the neglect of the resources that we don't teach them. We have gold in our system. We have timber, we have this. But as we speak now, if you go to Atuabo, where they mine the Jubilee field, 95% of the workers over there are from China. On the basis that is where they have decided to have a technique to come and mine our oils and everything for us. So if the curriculum is to seek and solve challenges in our society, then the curriculum must be responsive to solve those things. The problem has to do with a teacher who teach timber, who use Mantiafa Jato and all those things as part of the deliverables. But when it comes to assessment, you allow WAEC to set pen and paper test. Be asking what is Mantiafa Jato? And then it becomes difficult for that child who knows how to draw Mantiafa Jato and even describe Mantiafa Jato orally being denied. And that is where the problem is being coming from. Recently, the Common Core program that is written the BEC on it. A child who cannot use his hand and the hand to write. She has to be forced to use the mouth to write. Yes, I have the video. I sent to the minister. I sent to NACA. They have the child. I will post it on your platform. The child has to use the mouth to write and struggle. How can you put a bird and a fish in the same sea to swim in terms of a competition? You understand? So that is where the challenge is coming from. Why don't we have oral tests for such a child to express, re-record, transcript it, and then you mark for the person? So if you did an assessment, take the mandate from WAEC. Take the mandate because it's National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. That mandate of assessment has been taken away from you, and that is making your job very difficult. Teachers teach the curriculum. When it gets to assessment, they assess it differently. Because the recent WASI BEC that they just wrote, have taken pain to go through it. And I've seen that I have a serious banter with the minister and then Professor Apia on that. Now, yes, I mean before Professor Era comes. So before even certain materials were called off and the new ones were given. Why is it that we have prepared our teachers, now you are going to do oral assessment? I know, which constitute about 40 marks in French and all those things. But you tell us that resource constraint, this period, we won't do oral assessment. Then tell us that we will not do assessment. Because I've prepared myself, my best option to be assessed. It's not by writing. Some of us, we don't like writing. But when you give us the mic, you'll be able to express ourselves. Are you denying me that I'm not able to be part of the development of this country? That is the challenge of NACA, and it must be, resolved thoroughly.
I believe that is the essence of this summit. We are here to reimagine, rethink, and to deliver. Before we go, I would like you to answer that question. I think it's very important. He asked that, is there any approved accounts that they can make payments for their renewal and all those? Or people will just come in, your workers will come in and then ask for money and there will be no trace of any. Please speak on that for us. No receipt, okay. No surrender. All right, so if there's anything like that, let's have it. Yes.
No. Those saying no receipts. No NASIA staff takes or handles physical money. No NASIA inspector.
It's supposed.
No. Let me come there. I'm saying that no NASIA inspector. So please, if you have NASIA inspectors taking money from you without giving you receipts, that is why I've given you the platform. Report as soon as possible. Don't have a second thought around it, please. Don't have. Maybe that you see, if you be a men's home, right? So as we are there making sure that the right things are being done, you may have others who are, we term them as the weak links, and they will be frustrating the system. Please, ask for no receipt issue there. Don't even countenance it at all. Now, NASIA, one of the major agencies that has gone digital, by digitizing all our processes and our activities. When you want to now license a school, renew your license, register a school, or whatever you want to do, we not long ago launched a system we call the School License Inspection Management System called SLIMS. It's a digital platform that you can just log onto it, require or request your school to be renewed or for inspectors to inspect your school. Then you go through the process yourself. You do all your payment through the Ghana.gov platform, which the money does not even come to NASIA directly. It goes to the central pool, and it is later accredited to NASIA's account. So don't let anybody come to you and take money. Sometimes what happens is that they might be in your school. You are supposed to pay via your Momo account. And, oh, sir, I don't have Momo. And you plead with them. So sometimes they have monies on their Momo account. They take your money and they pay it in front of you and give you your reference code. Because you try to convince them. And sometimes because of the nature of the work, you've traveled about 2 kilometers to a school. You go there, money is here, but I don't have it in a soft form. You have money in a soft form on your wallet. So give me the money. Let me pay via my wallet. Because he or she cannot come to the office and lodge fiscal cash. Then his appointment will be terminated. So maybe that exchange, please, if you are you put aside the law and you negotiate with somebody, right? Let that negotiation probably stay between you. Don't try to make it public. Yes.
Is it the proper thing to do? Are you
No, that's what I'm
encouraging
saying. That it is a negotiation you did. You don't have the money. I wanted to help you by paying with my wallet. It was a negotiation between the two of us. You try not to make it public, make it seem like I am doing the wrong thing because you were pleading with me. I could have insisted that go and pay and bring the receipt. Let me do it for you. So please, with that issue, let us put it aside. NASIA inspectors are not supposed to take fiscal money, and if they do, report it as such. I think that was the question, right?
Yeah.
Is the question answered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please,
Director.
I will take a final
Director.
remark here because of time. I believe you all have a lot of questions. Oh, please understand, okay? We have a lot of questions, but time will not permit us, okay? So let's make use of our social media platform and our WhatsApp group. There's going to be an open forum where we are going to be, collecting all these questions.
So, Madam Moderator, in terms of monies that are being paid to NASIA's officials, in fact, there are numerous situations that we have intervened, and I must recommend a champion and Madam Rita for such a wonderful job that they are doing over there. The current situation happened at Abomusu Eastern Region, where the person is not a NASIA rep. So we have to also be very careful and always be reporting issues. So the person had opportunity of using, NASIA's vehicle somehow, somewhere, and getting to a school and took 2,500. Yes. So the person was also waiting for a receipt and all that. And unfortunately for the person who took the money, the lady bounced on us in one of the meetings and said, oh, I've paid money to NASIA and I've not received my receipt and all that. And I haven't. So when we investigated, we realized that certain group of people had also going grants, doing also the NASIA work for them. And then we trace it. So within one week, we were able to get the person, the culprit, and the money was paid and was handed to the police. So please, if you are here and anyone comes to your school, make sure that they have a tag. They have a tag. And even when you go to NASIA's website, majority of their inspectors, their names and everything is published over there. So you can verify. And then, yes, and then one key thing NASIA is supposed to also do is that when your people collaborate with the private schools, associations, and the executives on the ground, it will be so easier for them to be identified and kept the kind of canker in terms of corruption and all that. Because most of the private schools, they know where the private schools are, the leaders. And when they work through them, it will help resolve that I've paid money to this, I've done this. Now, East, they do something fantastic over there. There's a NACOS rep called Zito. He makes sure that all the private schools' receipt and certificate are given to him. And he was the one who takes the money accountable to what? Bring the receipt and then certificate. So therefore, the members also what? Get it. You call a session like this and deliver the certificate to all of them. So they are happy. They are not experiencing, Madam is a testimony here. They are not experiencing that kind of a challenge. However, I still want NASIA also to consider, it's a suggestion, to consider not registering schools who have also not complied with certain regulatory requirements. Because GES was doing that. And when we realized private schools were tagged as a bad or let's say unprofessional body, GES just come to the school and say, register with me. Meanwhile, the law requires that every school must be incorporated. The same law that you are using to license the schools. It requires that the schools must be incorporated and have a governance board. You go to the school and you realize that the school had not even registered. But you go ahead and issue a NASIA certificate to that school to operate as a provisional certificate. When you do that, it will be seen that it's because of what? The money that you wanted. We are training low-cost private schools in the northern region, 213 private schools. And our first account realized that about 98% of the schools have not been incorporated. Meanwhile, they hold NASIA's certificate. So are you collaborating or supporting illegality, or what are you doing? You understand? I think I've brought that attention to yourself. Yes, because what they do is that they say, come for this name and go to Registrar General Department. Meanwhile, you don't birth name. The name birthing comes from the Registrar General Department. You understand? Because before a name can be incorporated, it must come from the Registrar General Department. You expect me to come to you, pay money to you, give me a name, and write it on the official paper that this name has been granted to. Yes. When you go to Registrar General Department, they key the name into their system and tell the school that that name has been taken. You see, so let's try as much as possible to fine-tune the process and find out that if a school has not been incorporated, you rather assist the school to be incorporated, and then you can issue your final authorization to that school in order not to in the system.
Thank you. Final remarks briefly.
I am a bit at a loss, but I'll get there. But where I am very comfortable is that the issue about the OOP, our world, our people, which was withdrawn, I will state on authority that National PTA were very instrumental. Even I mentioned this in Techimai when we met Madam, and I told Madam that we were very happy that thing was withdrawn. But we realized that we were fighting for the larger interests of the same parents. Already there has been a commitment where those things that were approved had already been printed out in bulk. So those parents who, or excuse my language, not their fault, these documents were already in the system, and because we made the noise and people realized that it is true, it was not needed at that particular time. The books were already in the system. How do we treat it off? In law, they will say, how do we treat it? So it was like, let's come to a gentleman agreement, even though we are saying that we should not continue its production. Let's find a way that what is in the system can be phased out. That was how come they went through all those processes, and then there was that letter from you. But we had a challenge that if there was that thing, at least we should have all been called to the table and we all agree that, oh, this is the roadmap. So we can explain. Because when media people were asking me to speak on that thing, I weighed that thing and I said, look, if I talk much about it, I will create another problem for the same parents who are also on our neck that thing should be. So I'm sure that in the next 2-3 years, that whole thing will become a thing of the past based on the roadmap. But you see, issues about incorporation under company law and with the Companies Act, from where he is coming from, he is speaking about the body that is in charge. I know that even if it's a government entity, and you want to register it, and the Republic of Ghana, the coat of arms is on it, it tells you that you have to go through the Registrar General's Department or any other body that has that particular authority to do that. But I saw our brother and colleague nodding and said there could probably be an information he wants to give us, because today I know that if I want to register an entity as a business or as a company, as an entrepreneur, I have to go through certain processes. I want to know where NASIA and then the research general, what is actually the collaboration. I think that is the missing link that we need to get that information and be able to pick it from there. Thank you.
Quick on that. NASIA do not incorporate organizations, neither do we give names. But the problem, I know you are much aware. That is why you are talking about. You see, the schools are supposed to, when you are a new school, then you go to the Registrar General's Department office to incorporate the school. They will not buy into it. you need to go with an official introductory letter. And that letter should come from NASIA. And the problem has been that the schools will come with their names. I'm going to register Xavier Supreme International. Then we will give the letter of introduction. Then they will go there and find out that the name has been absorbed. We didn't propose the name. They come with their names and we only give a cover letter. So I think the problem has been when the name is rejected, they're coming back to get a different introductory letter. I think that is where the problem is coming from, because you'll be charged again. So I think that is where from here I'll have to propose to management to have a consideration on that. That when the letter is issued once and then the registrar general do not accept the name, the person is allowed to modify or change the name, and then another cover letter is given to that. We don't incorporate.
We'll come to you. We've done in company law, incorporation is granted by the state.
Hello.
And there's a body in charge of incorporation, and that body that regulates it is the Registrar General's Department. So if you want to register an entity, a business, or whatever, your first point of call is the Registrar General's office. When you, no, I'm coming. I'm coming. No, I'm saying that
conversation is getting heated.
We will get back to you.
Let him
we'll
land,
get back
and then
to
you will respond.
I'm saying that.
Let him land, then you respond.
As I speak to you, I have the Act 2019 is lying in my room now.
We are live.
I have everything on the Act that I read. I have done it as a course, and my understanding is that issues about incorporation, nobody has authority than the office of the Registrar General. So if you go to the Registrar General's office and you propose a name and they search in their system and the name is conflicting with any other person's name, they won't give you that opportunity. So when they are done with their part, you have a certificate show that you have been incorporated. You have a unique serial number and you have all the details of how you went through the process with them. It will be that certificate that gives you the authority to establish whatever entity you want to establish. And when you have that and you now come to this thing, you deal with it. But what I know is that even all public schools are supposed to have unique names. But as to whether we do it with Registrar General, as far as the Republic of Ghana, we are under GES. We know that GES handles that and all those things. So NACA, the certificate they have as an entity to operate is from Registrar General. They have a unique code. They have everything. GES has it. Every other entity has it, whether public or private. That is what I know is in the Act. And that Act was approved by the Republic of Ghana, the Parliament of Ghana. And since it has been approved, I don't think that any other body can come and take over that mandate from Registrar General and be doing that on their behalf. That is my understanding, but I think that I will leave.
You see, my brother,
I'll give you the chance to clarify
ideas are
anything,
not in the one side. We should be able to improve the systems that we have. And this is what the private schools are saying. And I'm telling you on the fact that we don't need any letter of introduction to set up a business in Ghana. The fact is that the regulator looking for recognition and have a collaboration with that another regulator and say that when these people are registering, let me have a system or let them talk to me before I grant them that kind of what? Certification. But that is not the foundation of the law. Because the foundation of the law is very clear. And I've registered number of schools when they raise issues of NASIA's introductory letter, I point them to the Act that it is not stated in the Act. If it is a special vehicle, we have bodies like HAF, we have bodies like insurance, we have bodies like banks. Because it is a special vehicle, the law treats it as such. But education, we take our root from the 1992 Constitution. So when you want to register your business, you go to Registrar General Department, they grant you that name, And then that name gives you the authority to be dealing with each and every institution. But if I come to you and you grant me name, what authority have you introduced me based on? What kind of foundation have you based on it to introduce me? Then we go to Registrar General, we show the letter, they key the name, and the name pops out that Kofi Boachi has taken what? The name. Then I will come back to Nasia again, then they will charge me again. Then I will go. What are we doing?
Please, let him respond.
So please, let's change the narration and help us achieve the aim. Thank you.
You are speaking to this, and then we conclude for.
Please, let me re-echo the point.
Put your questions in the group for me, okay? Let him respond to this. I beg.
Let me re-echo the point that Nasir do not suggest or propose or name any school.
The one you bring.
It is the name you bring. So I want to register a school called MYE. I write to Nasir, I want to establish a school called MYE. Give me an introductory letter. So we state in the introductory letter, directed to the Registrar General, that Mr. So-and-so wants to incorporate a school called MYE. Called MYE. We don't propose. Please, let us be clear. You bring a name, written name in a written form, then we cover letter on it to the Registrar General for it to be incorporated. Now, you may...
Please, let's be mindful of our comments,
you may have challenges with either a letter of introduction or whatever. But from day one, even in the days of GES, you couldn't establish a school without going through the necessary protocol, where GES will have to give you an introductory letter. Because, mind you, the moment the Registrar General Department incorporates the name, it means that that company has been brought into existence. Now, if there is a public school here, and you are coming to build just next to it, and Registrar General gives you an approval, and NASIA says that according to our law, you are not made to put a school here. Please, let us be clear. We've gone through the legal rudiment of all we are doing. So, Registrar General will not commit itself to give a birth to an organization which has not been allowed to come into existence. So schools will have to comply with certain... You can't go and build in a waterlogged area because Registrar General has given you a certificate that this company exists. NASIA will not allow you there. So to curtail that, you need to write to NASIA for NASIA to certify itself that this is where you are going to put up the school. Verification. That is why we do verification. We look at your site, your land document, and we say, okay, we are good to go. Registrar General, have this company, and it has a position in our space of education. The Registrar General now has something to stand on to give birth to the company. So the cycle is not that straightforward. NASIA do not give name, but rather you propose your name to us. Then we put a cover letter. It's more or less written through NASIA to GES. To Registrar General. We are only to cover letter it and give it to the Registrar General. So let us be clear on it, please. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Please, let Madam have it so we can have her final remarks to then we can move.
Final remarks?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think I did mention this, but let me go over it again. We are planning a training with NASIA and GES for you on the senior high school curriculum, just like we've done around the countryside. Now, for all resources that has been developed, you can have it on our website. I think I did mention this earlier. So if is it the curriculum you want to download, that is the subject curricula that you want to download, they are available, except the senior high school one, because that one is still, we haven't had approval yet. Hopefully we'll get approval before schools reopen. But when it comes to the manuals that have been developed, teaching and learning materials, to accompany this. They are available. You can download that. That is the PLC manuals, subject-specific manuals, learning planners, DPLC manuals. All these were developed based on the subject curriculum. So you can download this on our website. Well, now let me conclude by saying that in going forward, for us to have a very valid assessment and a certificate that is recognized worldwide, we need to have WAEC. But in terms of the assessment standards that WAEC is using, currently there's a workshop going on in Eastern Premium Hotel in Oforidua. I think I'll even pass there before I go to Accra. We are working extensively with WAEC item developers. That is those who develop the questions for students to take. We are working extensively with them to make sure that every question that they said is based on the curriculum. And then our students can use it. Then we have the 30% proposal for schools and the 70% for WAEC to make sure that as schools, as teachers, we are contributing to the assessment. But when it comes to a test taking, assertive devices become something more or less a national challenge, because to have all the assertive device either for learners, some inclusive learners, let me say, is more of a national challenge because we don't have all the assertive devices for them to use to take some of these tests. But in going forward, I think we have a minister who is working extensively to make sure that we have some of this. And NACA as an agency, working with WAEC to make sure that whatever we suggested in our curriculum is not just about knowledge base, but it's going to incorporate creativity, going to incorporate collaboration, leadership skills, all the 21st century skills. So learners come out well equipped with the 21st century going forward. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. I believe we have to bring this session to a close. Time will not permit us to take all your questions. But as I said, let's make use of our social media platform and also the WhatsApp group. And we're also going to have an open forum where we can now take all the questions and submit to the various agencies that need to react to them. So this is just a formal way of introducing. I believe they need to even come back and speak to us more. So please forgive me if I was not able to take your questions. On that note, sir and madam, I would like to say a very big thank you for coming. In fact, as you can see, they would wish you were here tomorrow, the next and the next. As for him, he's still here. So just as you have the others, attack him with all the questions and everything. So thank you very much. Yes. Okay, so on that note, we say thank you and let's hang out for the
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, a rapturous round of applause for Madam Dolinda and of course, Mr. Champo and Madam Rebecca. We are enormously grateful for your presence.